Good morning, everyone. A pleasure to be here this morning, this beautiful Tuesday, April 19, 2016. Uh, Definitely look forward to an exciting webinar. So glad you were able to make it. Welcome. Today I'm joined by my colleagues here with Amalia and also with Chris Balon, who's going to be sharing some insightful um, uh, topic in regards to success metrics. So good morning, Amalia and Chris.
Good
Yes, good
morning.
morning. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining.
Excellent. So before I just begin, I just want to do a bit of an audio test. If you can just let me know via the chat that you can hear us, that'll be great. It's a simple nudge will be very helpful. Okay, let's see now. All right. It's okay. Perfect. Good. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Okay, perfect. So let's get started. As I mentioned, we have some news and articles today. Also, Chris is bringing in a topic in regards to SEO success metrics, which is very important. It's all about managing expectations with our clients as well as under promising and over delivering. And the best way is to really educate them beyond some of the standard or most known metrics. So I'm pretty sure Chris will touch base with us on that. So looking forward to that, and hopefully you were able to learn a few things. And have any questions you have, you can definitely share them with us. All right. So to begin, Amalia is going to be talking to us a little bit about an interesting report by Apple in regards to their App Store. So Amalia, you may
Yeah.
want to share a little bit more about it.
Basically, I want to share this article. It's Apple basically building AdWords, like ad product for the App Store. The auction could be potentially effective for developers, lucrative for Apple. Apple has been reportedly building a paid search style ad product for its App Store. According to Bloomberg, Apple has, I'm quoting what they're going to be what they had said was they have constructed a secret team to explore changes to the App Store, including a new strategy for charging developers to have their apps more prominently displayed. Bloomberg also goes on to say that there's about roughly 100 employees working on it. Some of them engineers on the project are from Apple's iAd unit, which has substantially scaled down over the past years or so. Basically, given the app discovery challenges, they would expect an auction for prominent placement to be both popular and lucrative for Apple, basically provided that Apple does a good job with it. When the App Store launched back in 2008 in July, there were about 552 apps. Today, there are more than 1.5 million, creating a significant visibility and discovery problem for publishers and developers. So basically, a substantial chunk of mobile and revenue is still tied to the app promotion. Facebook has been particularly successful with the app download ads, and assuming the story is accurate, it's not clear whether Apple is driven by desire to improve the overall App Store experience or to generate revenue. So I just want to share that. Armando, do you have any feedback on that?
Yeah, you know what's very interesting that with this, let's call it ecosystem or e-marketplace, which is now the App Store, where you had 552 apps in 2008 in a span of about 8 years. It's grown to 1.5 million. So yes, and definitely apps can get lost, and I think this is in essence it's an effective way for these apps to be prominent, but it's also going to be lucrative. So we'll keep you posted. It's something interesting for you to know, specifically if your client is looking into developing an app. Just let them know also the reality of the fact is that there's 1.5 million apps out there just on the Apple Store. Where's yours going to be found? So there has to be also a strategy apart from let's say a technical strategy or a user strategy when it comes to app development. There has to be also a marketing strategy behind it, because just like back in 1994, 96, I guess, when websites began, you could build up a website and be found, and then by 2000, 2004, there was millions of websites out there, and at that stage, you needed to market your website. So, apps are going into the same route, specifically within just the app App Store ecosystem, if you will. My understanding is that the App Store is one of the most used app finding websites or ecosystems, right? So anyhow, I thought that was very interesting. But do have it in mind with your clients as they're thinking about potentially creating an app for their business, etc. Think about the marketing of it, because you gotta have a strategy in place to promote that app, right? It could be the best app in the world, but needs some promotion. So I think that's part of the strategy here that Apple's also doing, which can be lucrative for them as well. So there is an opportunity there. Okay, Amalia?
Yes, yes. There's another article I want to share with everyone as well. Basically, Google local results get additional search filters on mobile. The Google shows additional search filters for the local pack based on the search's location and history now. So now when you search a query, it has basically the local intent, and it brings up the 3-pack, or what they call also the local pack, in the Google search results. So Google may offer basically offer you any additional search filters for that query. So I provided a little bit of an example there. So for example, there was one individual who was searching for, I think it was like La Bella. Google offers, basically was offering additional filters to show the results within 5 miles, or an open now, or a top rated, or even more. So basically they're providing more options. So let's say, for example, you search something for like Italian pizza, you're going to get multiple search options. And the search filters on the local pack over the searcher new dynamic filters based on the searcher and the query and the location. And I provided sort of a screenshot there for everybody to take a look at, and that's basically what it's going to visibly look like in the near future when you search for something.
Yeah, now this is very important, specifically for mobile searches, to
Yes.
make sure that you have your Google My Google Business updated. And I believe I mentioned that I don't know if it was the last webinar or the one before, that you should have as much information as possible in your My Google Business up to date, and all the fields completed, your whole profile completed, so you can definitely be featured. So if you can look at this one with the categories that have been added, or these additional filters, you have within 5 miles radius, right? So this is based on your location, and Google knows that based on where you are. They'll be able to provide you with restaurants, in this case for La Bella. Then the next one is open now. So if your store it has updated store hours, it will definitely be linked with that, right? Top rated, again, the importance of My Google Business reviews, right? So just by knowing, by having these 3 filters, definitely will be able to change some of the behavior of the searches. I didn't get a chance to look at the more filters yet, but I would imagine that this is why it's very important that your My Google Business should be very well optimized, specifically when you're looking at focusing on local intent type searches. I know that Chris is on the line. Maybe Chris, you can share a little bit of your feedback in regards to the importance of having a well optimized My Google Business page or profile.
Yeah, absolutely. And these changes with the additional filters is fantastic. It's been a pain point previously where the top local results on desktop searches will include such a large service area that some results are often irrelevant. And we'll work very hard to get some businesses into that local 3-pack, only to be competing with people that are 20 miles away and outside of service areas, or not reasonably within somebody who is searching in a local geographic area to actually feasibly go to. This is great because it shows that Google is being cognizant of the locality of people searching on their mobile devices. And if somebody is searching on their mobile device, they want something that is close enough to immediately visit. It's almost representing a shift from where desktops are where people do their comparative shopping, and mobile devices are where people do their actual shopping. Desktops where people investigate and they gather more information. But a mobile device is where you need something immediately, where you're looking for a restaurant to go to right now, as opposed to planning your weekend trip uh, for Saturday night's dinner reservations, right? So this shift is great because we already, for our optimizations in our Google My Business pages, are following all of these best practices. We're ensuring we're specifying geographic areas. We're specifying hours. We're including ratings. And this is just going to ensure that mobile device browsing is even more relevant for immediate conversions, where we might see on desktops more repeat visitors as they shop around and they go to your competitors and they come back to get more information. It's your mobile devices that represent a necessity in conversion, an almost immediate point of conversion. And these changes are phenomenal for that. Hopefully they roll out something like this on desktops as well.
Yeah, thank you, Chris. And it's very important, again, that if you are managing your client's My Google Business profile page, that you keep it up to date and that you encourage, again, your clients to make sure that they're always getting reviews, because it's becoming more and more important, right? So, it's part of the whole overall marketing strategy within My Google Business. So thank you, Chris, for that. And thank you, Amalia. Excellent. The other piece of information that I wanted to share with you, which we had already shared and Google had already let us know about a month ago, that the Google Toolbar PageRank was going to be eliminated, and officially it has been eliminated. And I've actually, just for the purpose of of this slide, I'm actually showing a screenshot of Mozilla Firefox with a sample of what the PageRank used to look like, and what we all, this is a very old a screenshot of Google's homepage. You can tell by all the links at the top, right? But anyhow, the key message is that over the weekend, many web administrators and SEOs were looking for the Google PageRank, and it's really gone. It's no longer there in the toolbar, and definitely, the number one key thing is that Google had for many years not really updated the PageRank scores. As a result, the tool became less and less impactful or useful to find information in regards to the authority or the actual PageRank for specific websites. So just letting everybody know, if you're still relying on PageRank, or you were relying on PageRank and you're still wondering what happened, well, you know what? It's gone. It's no longer a valid practice. It's been removed from the Google toolbar. So if you don't see it, that's what's happened. I know there was a lot of different sets of opinions in regards to the validity of the PageRank and its usefulness over time. But what ended up happening is that over the years, as it started to lose its value, it just became a very not important factor. You know, I will tell you though that some SEOs, specifically outdated SEOs, are still alluding to the fact that it's a very important critical factor, but no, it's not. Because we can't really see it. We can't really address that or be able to share that with the client. Google's not really sharing that information with us. Now, whether Google has totally eliminated, that's something internally that we don't know, but the PageRank for viewers is no longer there. So I just wanted to share that with you as well. Very quick note. So if you don't see it, just be aware of it. Okay, excellent. Okay. Now Google opens home service ads to HVAC services and electricians. So as you remember also, Google has been very active in building out different offers for different verticals. And one of the areas that they were focusing on was the home service ads, and we talked a little bit about it, and I have a screenshot in the next slide which I'll kind of toggle back and forth. They were primarily focused on the plumbing area, where you could have these service ads prompt up at the top as sponsored, right? So these would be basically in lieu of text ads, right? again, this is still a little bit of a test that they're running because primarily they're only doing in specific states and they're more on the West Coast. As a matter of fact, they've opened up they're going city by city. But this is what these home service ads look like, where you have obviously name of the business, ratings, location, and right away you can send a request or call, right? So this is how they wanted to connect you. And as you can see, it says their sponsor ad. So this was, for example, an example of Plumber San Francisco. So what they've done now is they've actually rolled it out for HVAC service providers. I actually tried doing this and tried finding some ads, and unfortunately I wasn't able to do it before the webinar today to give you some examples, but it's now open to HVAC service providers, and they continue to do it. You know, so far from my understanding, they're now they're providing the service to plumbers, locksmiths, and also electricians or HVAC providers. And all you have to do is request. You can actually do this through the Google AdWords Express home service ads, and I've actually shared share that with the link, and I'm going to share it in chat. But a couple of things that you have to understand is that the beautiful one of the advantages that I believe is that you can send up to 3 requests at a time, right? I mean, even if you go to more plumbers, it's going to display more, but you can send up to 3 requests to get 3 different quotes, right? Again, it's somewhat of a test that they're doing still, and they haven't really provided us feedback, and this is why they've kept them more in the San Francisco Bay Area, and they've actually just recently opened up to Sacramento. So if you do, if you're an IC working in these areas and would like to definitely test this ad product rollout, definitely you can go to the AdWords Express link, and you do have to go through an application and background check, okay? And once you go through that application and background check and it's approved, you can definitely set up your ad licensing AdWords Express. So I'm going to share this with you. I believe, Chris, you have something to share on this?
Yeah, absolutely. This is even more reason why we should be approaching clients in this area and attempting to position AdWords as another great strategy for them. This is great visibility for these industries, and I know I'm personally working with a few of them, and that's going to be in my recommendations for the next month as well. It's, again, great visibility for these service-oriented industries.
Yep, and as you can see it, specifically if you're combining SEO and some paid search, definitely have a look at it. Here's the website. I actually just provided the link. It's something that you should look into it. It's very similar to Google AdWords, so the cost per click and the investment will be very much the same. It's a bidding process, but if you are in that area for now, right, the San Francisco Bay Area where they're testing it out, make sure you you look at this, and it may fit into, if your client is servicing in these areas, you may be able to provide them with that. So again, it's something that they even actually have a oh wow, email or call us. They actually even have a Google contact us center, so they're really testing this out. So sometimes it's so hard to get a hold of Google, and now they're actually giving you a telephone number, hours, and an email. Anyhow, you have to fill out the form to be qualified, right? And if you are qualified and you're vetted and so on, you can definitely do this. Oh, so look, here is the list: plumbers, house cleaners, locksmith, handyman, and others. So it allows if you have clients in this area, definitely have a look, take a look at this and see if this would definitely assist your client. Okay. So moving along then, that's something that I wanted to share with you. Keep an eye on it. It's very important. You want to know what's going on the latest. The other one's a little bit interesting, just more on Google doing some tests, and this is an experiment that was done by Samantha Murphy, who is one of the specialists at Mashable, a reputable company, right? And what's happening is that in doing a specific test on the mobile, what they're finding out is that as opposed to Google displaying, let's say, the most likely search terms when you are opening a browser on a mobile and doing a search term, and recently what they've seen is it's actually showing trending searches, right? So typically when you start typing letters into the Google search box, Google will start offering autocomplete suggestions. So these autocomplete suggestions in the past have been, what is mostly popularly searched on, as well as your search history. You can see that. But recently, even in this screenshot that we have below, the user just typed G, and already, you are getting trending searches. So we'll keep an eye on that. We'll let you know how that works, and how we can take advantage of that, or how to prepare for that. But again, Google just tinkering and with mobile searches. So I thought I'd share this, something that I know we all rely, even if it's for research purposes and keyword research purposes. We want to always look at most likely searches and the auto complete suggestions as most popular searches that are happening. But right now, if you are seeing these things don't get thrown back, it could be a test that Google is right now testing. So just wanted to share that piece of information with you as well. Okay, excellent. Wanted to leave ample time for Chris, who's going to be talking to us about SEO success metrics. So Chris, you can definitely take it away from here.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Armando. And I wanted to cover something very important here, as because we are communicating directly with clients and you're communicating directly with us, sometimes some items are lost in translation. As we're communicating something with you as the IC and you're communicating it to the client, we often have a bit of a disconnect. And I wanted to ensure that everybody is on the same page in what it means to have a successful SEO campaign. Or the alternate title for this is Good News and How to Communicate It. Because there are more than one metric for success in an SEO campaign. We shouldn't just be focusing on one aspect of a campaign. So let's dive right in. Now, the biggest trap that both we as marketers and clients fall into is the single-minded success trap. Success isn't defined by just one thing. We need to diversify what success means. If a client is only concerned with ranking #1 on Google, that's a bad habit. We need to temper their expectations in regards to what success means. If we are selling them #1 ranks on Google, that's not what we should be approaching this as. There are several success metrics for SEO, and ranking is one of the least important of the success metrics. We need to communicate successes and struggles. That means we need to set game plans in place. If we're only communicating successes or we're only communicating struggles, we aren't accurately depicting what a campaign means to a client. Only good news means that we aren't representing what we need to fix, what we need to adjust, or what we need to strategize for. Only communicating bad news leaves a bad taste in the client's mouth. It's going to mean that they're more likely to cancel a campaign. If we aren't giving them a balance of both good news and struggle points, then it's going to be even harder to communicate with them how we need to change moving forward. It is up to us as marketing consultants to temper expectations for our clients. What we should be selling is improvements over existing metrics. Any improvement over our success metrics is a success. It's not just #1 rankings. We shouldn't be approaching a client saying, with this campaign, you'll have 5 page 1 rankings, 5 #1 rankings at the end of 12 months. That's not the correct approach. The correct approach is, again, tempering their expectations for our 3 success metrics. Our first and most important success metric, if we could advance, please.
Oh yeah, sorry. If I may just add quickly this. Sorry, Chris. Just want to chime in very quickly. Not taking you out of your role, but when you can actually, as a consultant, you can actually do this even in the pre-sales and as you're qualifying your clients, trying to understand if they have these bad habits, right? So if you find that they're ranking number one, that's all they want, and we talk about it and make fun of it all the time, but in reality, I can tell you that there is a whole mindset right now of many clients that are coming with that mentality that we have to break that habit. And the reason is because SEO has changed, right? I mean, SEO is not what it used to be 5, 6, 7 years ago. It's an evolving marketing tactic, online marketing tactic. So as a result, you definitely have to do that. The other one that you can even add to this, not just the rankings, but also sales, right? As marketers, we're driving traffic to a website, right? Unless we're really managing their path to purchase and we're doing a whole management of their overall site, sales can be attributed, or we can take on that responsibility of sales. But even with that, you have to look at the fact that, is the product, a good product? Do they have great reviews? Are they giving promotion? So there's other factors that you have to consider, and that's what you have to get them as what Chris is saying, the single-minded success trap. And you can identify this through your IBA as you're learning more about the business and what the client's expectations are. And if they're, if rankings is a critical aspect of what they're looking for at the IBA level, flag it and start trying to break the habit by educating them. So just wanted to chime in on that component. So let's see.
Absolutely. Thank you, Armando. And that is exactly it. No longer is being number one on Google the be-all, end-all. And some people might still be in that mindset, as that was the mindset, 10 years ago. Right? Well, I'll get to that in a few slides, but first, the most important success metric that we need to be paying attention to and we need to be communicating with our clients are conversions. Conversions mean the client's bottom line. It has a direct impact from our efforts and on the client's mindset. This is how we show ROI to our clients. We need to ensure that we are properly tracking conversions through the client's site. And if a client comes on board with no means of converting through their website, that's something that should be addressed immediately. That's something you'll see myself and my team do as well. One of our first recommendations is always, what is your client's CTA? How do we make it more visible? And how do we track conversions? Do we put a dedicated thank you page off of their contact forms? Do we have a request a quote? Do we have a make an appointment button? And how do we track that? Do we track phone call conversions? Do we track email conversions? And if the client isn't tracking it through their website, are they tracking it themselves? Do they have a CRM that they track conversions through? And if they do, that's something that you need to ask your client about regularly. How were your conversions in March? How many of those conversions came in via email? How many of them came in via call? Those that called you, did you ask if they found your phone number on your website? Because those are conversions that we can attribute to our efforts. And if we can contribute conversions to our efforts, then that shows directly to our clients that their investment is paying off for them. And if we aren't bringing it up with them, then it might not even click with them. They might not even think to look at a CRM, or they might not even think to take a tally on a piece of paper. How many people contacted us through the website? And if they let us know that in February 2 people contacted them through the website, and in March 15 people contacted them through the website, and they realize that, then that is again proving our value to them and proving the value of a campaign. This is the most important success metric because again, this is what contributes to the client's success. Rankings, well, they contribute in part. they are not directly related to the client's success. Traffic, while contributing in part, are not directly related to the client's success. Conversions are directly related to the client's success. And that's what we should be emphasizing above everything else. Okay? The second most important success metric, if we can advance, is Google organic traffic. Google organic traffic is influenced by everything we do in an SEO campaign. This is content marketing. This is on-page optimization. This is link building. Everything that is an improvement in organic traffic can be attributed in one way or another to our efforts. This metric relates directly to the number of people that have become interested in the client's site. While this doesn't represent the number of conversions, it does represent the number of potential conversions. Right? And what you'll see here is in our success metrics, you'll see the cone of conversions broadening. We start at the conversion point. We broaden out to the amount of potential conversions with organic traffic, and we'll see where that takes us from here. Now, with organic traffic, there are a few pitfalls that we do need to relate. Like I mentioned, we need to communicate these successes with the pain points. Some pain points might be seasonality. They might be offline advertising. If your client has invested in offline advertising as well, that might take away from some potential organic traffic. Unsynced AdWords accounts show traffic coming in as organic traffic. That can skew our numbers significantly. If a client has decided to run their own AdWords account, or if you're working with a production company that's running an AdWords account, ensure that it's synced with Google Analytics properly so that you're seeing the difference between organic traffic and paid traffic. Otherwise, it all gets lumped together in organic traffic and can greatly skew results we're showing our clients. Other marketing efforts also have a direct impact on organic traffic as well. This means any other marketing that the client is doing online. If they're doing an ad spot or a paid ad for another site, if they're doing, say, ads on a video service or a video distribution service, that can influence organic traffic as well, and we should be aware of that. These are questions that we need to be asking of our clients. What else are you doing from a marketing and advertising perspective? Right? That not only gives us insight into how the metrics we're tracking are attributed, but it also gives us an idea into what other kind of marketing budget does the client have. Is that better spent somewhere else? Is that something that we can potentially pitch to the client to come on board with us if we can show them the proper successes? Now, as I mentioned, we're showing this conversion cone broadening. We started at the very point with actual conversions. Now we're broadening to organic traffic, which is showing us potential conversions, people that are interested and aware of the client's site. Now, if we take it one step further, the other success metric, or third success metric, if we could advance, please, is rankings. This is the broadest part of the cone because, of course, rankings do not relate directly to how much traffic the client is obtaining or how many conversions the client is obtaining. A client could obtain just as many conversions from a page 3 ranking as they do from a page 1 ranking, depending on the keywords that they're ranked for. This is, while a success metric, the least important success metric because it is the broadest success metric. A page 1 rank 1 ranking does not mean that that keyword is making the client any money. You can have a page 1 rank 1 ranking for a search term with 0 search volume. The client might be happy with that because it's a page one rank one, but again, it's not contributing to their bottom line. It's not getting them any search volume. That's why we need to break clients of the habit of only concentrating on rankings as a success metric, because it is the least important success metric. Or an organic ranking or somebody who is ranking above you does not mean that they are more successful than you or obtaining more conversions. We've seen that there are clients with competitors that have much less selection in product, that have poorer websites, but for some reason are ranking above our clients. Does that mean that the person in the number one position is obtaining more conversions than you? No. It means they're in the number one position. That's all it means. If a client's site is better optimized, has better products, and is more user-friendly, then you can be in position 7 on page 1, you can be in position 17 on page 2, and receive just as many or more conversions than the competitors on page 1. It really depends on the quality of the competitors in the field, and it really depends on these other success metrics. If a client has all page 2 rankings, but we're seeing their organic traffic double and triple over the course of 6 or 12 months, that means that they're still being very, very successful. And of course, if a client is getting conversions that they can attribute to our efforts, that's success as well. And while we do aim to improve a client's visibility through organic rankings, we do need to set expectations. If mom and pop's little hardware shop wants to compete against Home Depot, if they want to compete against Walmart, we need to let them know that that's likely not going to happen. We can set you in the same market space, but if all of the results on page 1 are Walmart, Home Depot, and Amazon, the likelihood of you breaking onto page 1 is low. However, you might be just as successful on page 2, or say the bottom of page 1, as you would be the top of page 1. Expecting number 1 results within a matter of months is not realistic either. Again, this is tempering expectations. If a client is signed on board for a 6-month campaign with 10 keywords and expects all of them to be page 1 rank 1 at the end of 6 months, again, that's a habit that we need to break of the client quickly. SEO is a marathon, not a sprint. This is something that takes time. It builds a cumulative effort. Every month builds on the month previous. And as I said at the outset, any improvement over previous results is a success. That could be a 2% improvement, that could be a 20% improvement, that could be a 200% improvement. But any improvement over what the client had is an improvement. And that's success that we should be communicating. Rankings are also the metric of success we have the least control over. Again, we are at Google's whims for a large part of this. While we can do more efforts for other optimization, which can gather more organic ranking, or more organic traffic rather, and more conversions, we can bang our heads against the wall for 12 months trying to get one keyword for a client from page 2 to page 1, or we can spread our efforts out. And we can say, rather than be frustrated over trying to get one keyword from page 2 to page 1, we can get 10 smaller keywords from page 7 to page 2 and receive just as much benefit. This is what we need to be communicating to our clients in order to ensure that they are prepared for what success means. Okay? Communicating all 3 of these together, and of course communicating the success and the pain points of, is how we communicate success to our clients. If a client is improving in 2 of these fields and not one of them, We need to strategize to improve that third field, but we shouldn't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Just because one of these success metrics is decreasing doesn't mean that the other two haven't increased. Those are successes. And each month when we meet with our clients, or each week when we meet with our clients, we should be reviewing with them what it means to be successful. And that's all three of these metrics: rankings, organic traffic, and actual conversions.
Uh, Thank you, Chris. Just a couple of things here. While I get some, if you have any questions, feel free to definitely begin posting them into the chat box. But it's very important that again, this strategy or at least the educational part happens at the beginning of your sales process. Just the other day, I was actually working with an IC where the IC was asking very strongly about rankings, and telling me, well, you know what, my client only cares about rankings. Well, the challenge here is that the IC has not educated the client, so there has to be a shift in the mindset, right? A shift in our belief systems in regards to SEO success. And it has to start with the IC believing this. We were speaking with the IC after a while and kind of understood, but you can't take the path of least resistance and just do what your client tells you. You have to educate them to avoid that, right? Because now you may already have clients that have been with you for 12, 24 months, 3 years, and they're still thinking about the old ways of doing SEO. You continuously have to educate your client. This is where the monthly reporting meetings are very crucial, where not only do you share the reporting of what's happening in their campaigns, what are the wins, the losses, and the opportunities, but also share what's happening in the industry, make them aware of what's out there, what's happening with the different changes in competition, Google's updates, also newest technologies, newest ways of marketing. And I think that by addressing these three things that Chris has shared with us, it's a good way of educating your client. Remember, at the end of the day, we want to help the client. We want to be able to work with the client long term and help them grow their business, right? It's all about them. And by educating them, it's a way of working together with them to achieve that one metric of that is important, which is conversions, right? And conversions don't happen overnight. You have to work at them as well. And conversions can be just not SEO conversions, but also direct traffic conversions, referral conversions, or any other way of their doing marketing should be tracked and potentially even compared, right, to what your work and what you're doing, right? So it's very important that again, I'm stressing this with the ICs and the new ICs that are on the call, that you try to educate your client from the IBA. Now, one section of the IBA, and I wasn't able to pull it up, but in that section of the IBA, it asks us what are the ways that you're going to measure the success of your campaigns, whether it's paid search, SEO, social media. When you ask that question, listen very carefully to the client and try to understand where they're coming from. And when we're talking about SEO, just educate them in flag anything that may be a bad habit, right? So again, don't take the path of least resistance with your client. You have to educate them, and don't expect your client to just overnight switch. You may have to have several conversations with them. I mean, we have them with the ICs, and you're preaching to the choir. It's very important that you take the time to educate your client. Don't just send them the reports and expect them to interpret them. It's about building that relationship and being able to uh, to uh, to educate them on these success metrics. But the more you position your client this way, the more trust they will have with you, right? The better educated they will be. The more they will also contribute to the overall campaign, right? Because they're not just so gun-ho on one success metric, but they're viewing it as a whole, as many, or at least in this case, three metrics that are very critical. So yeah, thank you very much, Chris, for sharing this with us, and also bringing some light into some of the things that are out there that are misconceptions, or it's what we call now bad habits, right? Don't have a lot of questions. I guess it was pretty clear in regards to what we're sharing, but if you have any questions, definitely feel free to reach out to us. We're going to have this series of SEO best business practices, so that way it will help you in selling. It will help you in consulting. It will help you in managing clients, working with your clients, and retaining your clients, because that's very important. And these are things that you should be following, right? Because this is where we are today. So thank you again, Chris. Anything you want to add, Chris, before we finalize today's session?
Education is absolutely paramount. Again, we are consulting experts, and the client is looking to us for our expert feedback. And we not only need to break the client of bad habits, but we need to ensure that we are educated and we are broken of bad habits as well. We need to ensure that we know what success means, and we need to ensure that the client knows what success means. And it's only then when we can effectively communicate this. And of course, it's about asking the right questions. Effective communication is always about asking the right questions. Asking about conversions, asking whether they're seeing an increase in their business, whether they're seeing a tangible effect from our efforts. And again, if we're asking those questions, then it's going to ensure everybody is on the same page about the benefits that we're providing the client. If we don't ask these questions, then all we're doing is showing our clients numbers. And if we show clients numbers without context, it means nothing. It means nothing to anybody, right? We need to be relaying this properly to our clients.
Excellent. Yeah, so keep in mind, I'm actually have here the slide for all of you to review when you're looking at conversions. What are these type of conversions? Phone calls, site form conversions, email conversions. So this is, email subscriber conversions or email request conversions. These are things that you want to definitely touch base with your client on a monthly basis and try to set up some sort of a system that can track this. I know there's different technologies out there that can track it, but sometimes clients are a bit budget conscious, so they may not have the money to put towards a tracking software, so then they have to track it manually. And you should ask them for this information to have transparency, right? Very key. And so yep, thank you, Chris. Seems like we don't have any questions, and that's great. I think it was pretty clear material. But if you do, and if you want to discuss anything, feel free to reach out to us. Thank you for joining us today on our webinar, and definitely we look forward to another exciting webinar next week. We'll have more news, and as well as some of the things that are happening within SEO, some new practices that are coming up that you should be aware of pertaining to link building, content marketing. So we'll definitely be providing that. So have yourself a great week, and we will be in touch next week, Tuesday. Thank you, and have a great day.
Thanks, everybody. Take care.